with me here right now is Johnny Langendorf. He was driving past the church when he saw the shooting. And Johnny, can you tell me what happened next?
No, I pulled up to the intersection where the shooting happened, and I saw two men exchanging gunfire, the other being a citizen of the community, and the shooter of the church had taken off, fled in his vehicle, and the other gentleman came and he said we needed to pursue him, that he just shot up the church, and so that's what I did. I just acted and got him off the road. And
okay. All right, Johnny, it sounds like we may be having a little bit of a technical difficulty. I'm going to try to switch mics here. All right, Johnny, so could you tell me again, you said that you heard you saw the two men exchanging gunfire, and then one of the men, someone you recognized, jumped in the car?
No, I didn't know him at all. I didn't recognize him. He just was a member of the community, and whenever he came to my vehicle in distress and with his weapon, he explained very quickly what happened, and he got in the truck, and I knew that it was just time to
go.
Yes, sir.
All right, so tell me about that. Tell me about following this guy. Was it high speed? Was he driving normally all over the place? What was it like?
No, sir. He got a little bit of a jump on us, and so we were doing about 95 down 539, going around traffic and everything. Eventually, he came to kind of a slowdown, and after that, we got within just a few feet of him, and then he got off the road.
How did that happen? Did you guys bump him, or did he lose control by himself?
He just lost control, and then that's whenever I put the vehicle in park, because I was still on the phone with dispatch, and the other gentleman jumped out and had his rifle drawn on him, and he didn't move after that.
Okay, so I understand you guys called police as you were chasing him.
Yes.
Now, did you lead them to that point? Did they meet you there, or?
No, we led them to there. He was headed northbound on 539, and everybody else was headed to the church. All the officers were responding to the church.
So how long before police arrived at that scene?
From the time we actually stopped, it was about 5 to 7 minutes.
And so the neighbor just kept his gun trained on him for that long?
Yes, sir.
All right, was the man moving? Was he injured?
No, I don't know. We didn't get close enough. We
As a chain infused cucumber hinders this creep.
So what next? What happened once the police arrived?
Just the police arrived and they pushed us back, and then they took care of the rest. I didn't see anything after that.
All right, Johnny, what was going through your mind during this chase? I mean, you're chasing a shooter. You've heard he's just shot up a church in your hometown. What's going through your mind?
Try and get him. To get him apprehended or whatever needed to happen. I mean, it was strictly just acting on what the right thing to do was.
Thank you very much, Johnny Langendorf. Again, this is Johnny Langendorf. He pursued after the shooter in his truck once he saw the shooter and a neighbor exchanging gunfire. The shooter, as we have heard, has been confirmed dead.
So what happened in Texas? Yeah, we've seen it, right? We've seen it all over the country. We've seen good guys with guns taking out bad guys with guns. The left has nothing to talk about right now. Nothing whatsoever. They don't have an argument. They have nothing, because what they want is for private citizens like you and me not to be able to carry a gun, not to be able to defend ourselves. They say guns are bad, guns are evil, guns do horrible things. Well, guess what else guns do? Guns save lives. Private citizens with guns save more lives than cops do. Why? Because cops show up after the fact. There's a reason that a private citizen with a gun chased the dude away, and then another private citizen with a gun put him down. It's not the police that did it. It wasn't the police coming that scared him away. It was good citizens, private citizens, law-abiding citizens with guns that stopped it from happening. That saved lives. That put the guy down. That's what happened. The left does not have an argument. This happens all the time, all over the country. What happened in Colorado? Guy goes up, shoots up a mall. He goes up to a church, starts shooting up the church. A person who was off duty, an off-duty security guard, had her gun, wasn't supposed to because it was on a church property, and put him down. A guy in another time in Colorado, guy goes in, starts shooting up a school. Vice principal goes outside to his car, a gun-free zone, mind you, grabs a gun out of his car, goes back in and puts the guy down. Guy goes up and shoots up a movie theater. Off-duty cop with a gun puts him down. The cops weren't there. The cops didn't show up yet. The cops couldn't have stopped it. Let me tell you something. When it comes to the police have never, ever been able to prevent a spontaneous crime. Never. In the history of man, the police have never been able to stop a spontaneous crime or even prevent it. They show up after the fact. After somebody dies, somebody calls 911. That's when the cops show up. Private citizens owning guns is the best, safest, most legit thing that can happen in this world. Because it's self-defense. Every human being has the right to self-defense. Every person on this planet has a right to self-defense. How many atrocities could have been stopped if private citizens had guns there at the time? I mean, there's so many more examples. So many more examples. Clackamas Town Center in Oregon. Guy went in there, started shooting up the mall. Guy with a gun scared him off. So many examples. So many. Studies have come out talking about how private citizens with guns have prevented millions of crime a year. Millions of crimes. How many lives have been saved? How many people would be mugged? How many women would be raped? How many mass shootings would there be if more law-abiding private citizens carried guns? It shouldn't be a hard question. It should not be a riddle. It's common sense. It's logical. It makes sense. If people have the ability to defend themselves, you'll have less people getting hurt. The only people getting hurt in those scenarios are the bad guys. Winning. That's a good thing. That's what should be happening. This kind of stuff needs to continue. More people need to be able to protect themselves. Pepper spray isn't going to do anything. A rape whistle definitely isn't going to do anything. The only way to protect yourself against evil, against bad people who wish to do you harm, is with the necessary tools. And unfortunately, in the world that we live in today, in the world that we have lived in for eternity, since this world was created, you know, back when you had swords, you had a sword. So you could defend against swords. When muskets came out, you had muskets. People can't sit there and say that the founding fathers didn't expect technology to get better, because the technology already existed. It just got better looking and easier to do. Repeater rifles and so on and so forth. The Second Amendment was written for a reason. It was to allow private citizens to be able to stand up against enemies, foreign and domestic. And the domestic doesn't necessarily only mean your own government. It also means the guy who wants to do you harm, the guy who wants to hurt your family, the guy who wants to kill you because you have an opinion that's different than his. Because that's the America we live in today. Because you disagree with me, I have the right to attack you. I have the right to sit there and kill you, according to some of these people. Well, they're wrong. And unfortunately, the people that they're saying this about, the people that they're threatening, the people that they are saying that they're going to come kill their families and stuff, well, we believe in self-defense, and we believe in arming ourselves and making sure that nobody gets to come and attack our families or attack us, because we have responsibilities, we have families, we have people we need to take care of. So you don't get to threaten us. You don't get to try to come and get us, because we're going to get you first. You come into our houses, you come onto our property and try to come and get us. That's what's going to happen. Just like if I'm at a church or if I'm at another gathering somewhere and you try to come and you try to kill as many people as you can, there are going to be some of us out there who's going to make sure that you can't do it. This is what freedom is. This is what liberty is. This is what self-defense is. And people need to get that through their heads, and people need to stop making excuses and stop letting their emotions cloud their judgment and their common sense, because I'm telling you that just because there is a shooting, and just because there is a shooting in Vegas, and just because shootings happen just here, just like they do everywhere else in the world, that does not give anybody the right to take away our freedom. It does not give anybody the right to take away the liberty that we have to be able to defend ourselves, instead of waiting 10, 20, 30 minutes for a police officer to come and stop it from happening. Common sense needs to come back into this country. Logic needs to come back into this country. And people need to stop letting their emotions control them. Because if we keep letting our emotions control us in this country, when it comes to policy, when it comes to law, when it comes to how things are done, we are going to crumble. We're already crumbling. We need to stop it. We need to turn back time. We need to fix this dam that is about to break. Because if we don't, there's nothing that's going to stop us from becoming a third world country, and the entire country turning into Chicago or Detroit or Atlanta or any of these other cities where they have gone out of their way to take away people's individual rights. We can't let it happen. It's time to stand up. It's time to stand up for something. It's time to stand up for what is important. It is time to stop states like Oregon, Washington, and California from eliminating due process and making it so the law enforcement can just come into your house without a warrant, without any due process whatsoever, and confiscate your guns just because somebody's feelings were told to law enforcement or a judge or whoever. That shouldn't happen. This is the United States of America. You don't have the right to come and take all of my guns just because I might have been angry one day on a Facebook post, or just because somebody thinks that I am a Nazi or a fascist. That doesn't work. It's not how it's supposed to happen. You get a day in court, you get to defend yourself, you get to argue your case, and you get to call out the people who accused you of it. But guess what? That happened. In Washington, Oregon, and California, they passed that kind of legislation. This shouldn't happen. Americans, Washingtonians, Oregonians, Californians should be standing up against this, should be standing up against this tyranny, should be standing up against our Second Amendment rights being taken away, especially California. California is the worst out of all of us. But it needs to stop, and they need to stop being able to do that. This is the United States of America, the land of the free, right? We have the Constitution, which is supposed to guarantee our civil liberties and our liberties in general. We need to stop letting states take that away. Start standing up, start speaking out, and start doing the right thing. And by all means, make sure that you have the ability to defend yourself at all times. If you don't have a concealed carry license, go get a concealed carry license. If you don't live in a state where that's easy, move. Get to where you can defend yourself at all times, because you don't know when this is going to happen. You don't know when there's going to be some lunatic out there who wants to kill you. And it doesn't have to be in a church. It doesn't have to be in a movie theater. It doesn't have to be a mall where all these are gun-free zones, right? It could be on the street while you're walking down, while you're taking your family out to a restaurant or something, and some crazy guy with a gun comes out and takes you out. Okay? Defend yourself. Arm yourself. Do the right thing for you and your family. It's not just about you. It's about people you love as well. All right? Do it.
Free thought for free people.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you want to see more like that, plus all of the footage that I'm getting on the ground with Antifa and so on and so forth, make sure you go to LibertyOneTV.com and subscribe. Make sure you use the coupon code CSC and you will be able to get the exclusive shows that I'll be putting on. YouTube has demonetized me. I can't do anything with YouTube anymore. YouTube is shutting me down. So now there is an alternative out there, LibertyOneTV.com. And it's not just me on there. There's all sorts of other people on there too, like Outlaw Morgan, Joe Biggs, and others. Make sure you go check it out. It is totally worth it. Trust me. And it's not even that expensive. I hope to see you there.